Okay, so we are, tonight is September 27th, and this is our Social Service Funding Committee meeting. We have a couple things on our agenda this evening. Really, the first is just, do we have any public comments? Let me check the attendees. Does not look like it. So first on our agenda is to discuss the memo that I sent out on the donation of the city van and come up with a recommendation as a team. And then we'll just kind of lightly touch on boards and commissions recruitment for the year as well. So that is what is on our list for this evening. Did everybody receive the memo in their email and have a chance to review it? Awesome. Oh, Mike, I think you're muted if you're sharing.
Yeah, I did not receive it, unfortunately.
Okay, let me try and send it your way. And then I can also bring it up. So 1 second. Okay, sent that to you, Mike, and then
Okay,
I will screen share it. So this should be it. Share screen. Okay, cool. So just as a quick review, the city has a van that they are looking to donate to a local nonprofit. What they asked is for us to reach out to the social service funding grantees for this year and to see who was interested and what they would do. So I sent out an email, got 8 responses from the organizations listed here. Big Brothers Big Sisters, Good Neighbor Center, Waste Not Food Taxi, DEAR, Bridges to Change, Meals on Wheels, Rise, and Transcending Hope. So there's a few pieces of criteria that I included in here. We can certainly talk about any other criteria that you all thought about in looking over this, but one piece was around the organizational budget. And then the second was on some of the numbers that they included in their grant application around how many folks their program would serve and what percent hit that low income requirement under HUD. So those are listed there as well. And tonight, really, we are just here to discuss and then for you all to come up with a recommendation that I will share with our leadership team on what we should do with that van. So I'm going to stop the share and just open it up for kind of any comments, any questions that you have after looking that over.
Megan, did they share, I mean, we can kind of guess what they were going to use it for. Did they give any detail about what, what they would be using this for?
That is listed. So I kind of put the description that they had sent me on what they would use it for. So that's listed. There are a couple organizations that weren't explicit about it, and then a few with more detailed descriptions.
And Megan, do you know, is Bridges to Change the organization that has a van at the municipal court with like kind of a multi-service center included? Yeah, I
They
would
do.
love to
They have
see them.
vans.
I would love to see them expand that. It didn't seem like they put that as the use for this particular vehicle. They were kind of vague, I guess.
Yeah, I believe that they would use it probably as an outreach van, based on kind of the description and activities. There is some like things that depending on what the organizations would use for it, they would have to do. So I think that's mentioned in there, but there's like not any seating in the van right now, or like any seats that come with it. So if it was used for any like client-based activities where they're like transporting them, that would have to all be done by that.
So I kind of, yeah, now I see that some of them didn't have it on there. I really liked the Good Neighbor Center. With the supplies, I also really, the Waste Not Food Taxi, just because of the problem we're having with, people and, the whole food thing, I think would be really, so those are the two that I kind of thought might be really good. I think all of them look great, so I'd support any of them, but those are the two that jumped out at me.
I think Waste Not Food Taxi is also, I think, the one that I would pick because they reach a lot of people. I mean, with what they have, they do reach a lot of people. So they should help them to expand the activities further.
Yeah, actually another vote for Waste Not Food Taxi from me too. And actually, Lisa, at first I had seen Good Neighbor Center and thought, oh yeah, that's perfect. But I think the thing that kind of changed around a little, not that I wouldn't support Good Neighbor Center getting it, but they do have a pretty sizable budget, especially comparatively to Waste Not Food Taxi, in the sense that like they really needed a vehicle. It seems to me they probably could secure one with their current funding. And then just all the examples that Waste Not Food Taxi gave of how they could use it, it's like pretty clear that it seems to me they probably have had it in their minds that they want one, or they would try to save for one if they could or whatever. And so this might really meet some needs for them.
I agree. I would vote for them too.
One more.
I can totally support that. I think with people losing unemployment benefits and some other factors, that food insecurity is going to become a greater problem. And I think I liked what Waste Not did when we looked at their grant proposal.
This isn't any fun because there's nobody disagreeing with each other. It's just terrible. Because I totally, when I was going through them earlier, Waste Not Food Taxi was the first one that hit me. Bridges to Change had some things where I thought could be useful, but they have a huge budget. And the Waste Not Food Taxi, especially when they say right now the volunteers are using their own cars, I love the idea of being able to support a group like that.
And they could come back to the Social Services Funding Committee next year and ask for the operating expenses too, so that way it will be totally free.
Great comment there, Renu. Okay, so I'm hearing general consensus around giving the van to, or recommending the van goes to Waste Not Food Taxi. Does anyone want to make a motion, or do we have some additional discussion?
If there's no additional discussion, I'll make a motion that we donated to the Waste Not Food Taxi. If there's additional discussion, that's great. So I don't know if that works as a motion, but.
I second.
Okay. All those in favor of the motion to donate to Waste Not, raise your hands. And just hold for a second. Actually, can you guys do a thumbs up on my internet lags a little bit, so just to make sure we grab it. There we go. Emojis or hands. Great. Looks like it passes unanimously. All right. Thanks, team, for that piece. I think there's obviously just a lot of interest in involving you all in some of these decisions that come up at the city and how we're going to support nonprofits moving forward. So there will be, I'm sure, other things that pop up. I think I shared with you all that the bylaw updates passed. So we will be adding 2 new members for a total of 9 this next year, 2022. We're in the middle of recruitment right now with the application closing on October 4th. There are a couple things that you all should have received a couple emails about from our neighborhood office, which does the primary recruitment for boards and commissions. But just a few things that they're looking at are really trying to invite new folks onto boards and commissions. So if you have been on the same board for more than 3 terms or been on multiple boards, that's something that they'll be reviewing in the reapplication process. But if your term is up and you are still interested in being a part of the board, please don't forget to submit an application. And I'm happy to have individual discussions with folks as well. So I will stay after this meeting for a little bit tonight in case anybody wants to chat, but we've always found that word of mouth from our current members is the best way to recruit. So please share with other folks, because no matter what, we have 2 new spots to fill. And I'm really hoping we can get another youth on our board. So those of you connected to the school district, I've done a little bit of outreach already, but if you have other teachers or parents that you're connected to that would know youth that might want to be involved, please let them know and share the application with them as well. So I think that is boards and commissions outreach. There are, oh yes, go ahead.
High school students, right?
Yes, high school students is what I am hoping to recruit. There are, I think, lots of boards and commissions, so everybody's doing recruitment right now. So it's can be hard to kind of get a word out about specific boards, but I think we have a really awesome group of people, and also we get to do really fun things like recommend how to use $300,000 of funding on nonprofit social service activities here. So I think it's an awesome way for people to get involved. The one thing about our board is that because we are dealing with financial money, that they have to live within City of Beaverton boundaries. So that's just the one piece of that. That is all I have on our agenda. That was very fast. So anything anybody else wants to discuss this evening or add to our list? I mentioned in our email, but I should probably say it here as well, that site visits are just on hold while we are continuing to deal with some COVID and safety protocols and all those things, but I'm hoping we can start those again in January 2022. So you'll be hearing more about that.
Update us when some of the organizations have their fundraisers. Could you let us know? I know there's a couple if they're coming up and if they're going to do them, I would love to attend. And I think there's probably a lot of us like to attend some of them. So if you hear them, could you let us know?
Absolutely. I think fall season's usually pretty popular, and my coworker Maria, who's awesome, deals with those. So you might see an email from her soon about some different openings. Most of them look like they're probably going to be virtual this year as well, but I will definitely send those out if we have open spots.
And also I sent Megan something, I guess, I don't know if the rest of you got it, about the housing thing they're having October 20th. You have to register for it. It's from 6 to 8. The first 25 people get a stipend. I don't know, but it sounds really interesting, and it might really concern some of us because of, we deal with, places with predecessor assistants and stuff. So Megan, did you get that? Could you share that with the group, or?
What housing thing, Lisa?
Mm-hmm. Oh, wait, you got the same thing?
No. I'm asking what housing thing?
Oh, it's the city of Beaverton and Unite Oregon are doing a forum about housing and paying for housing and what options are being proposed and are possible for rental assistance and low income housing building. So it's all about affordable housing.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, I can send that out and I will share that with you all. On that note, to the housing task force is also recruiting as well for new members. So if you or somebody you know is interested, that is one of the other boards that is recruiting as well.
That's an ad hoc one, and I talked to them about it, and you can serve on 2 with that because it's like a temporary ad hoc one. So she was telling me you can do 2 with that one. So I don't know if that's right or not, but that's what she told me. Megan, do you know any differently, or do you know anything about that?
Probably depends on applications and that type of thing. But yeah, that's a good reminder too, that generally it's one board. So yeah. Great.
So I just had one thing about the boards and commissions recruitment process, and I guess I already said this to Miles, so maybe I'm just sort of trying to socialize this perspective, but also, like most of you who have been on the board for a couple years know how challenging childcare was for me. And so I feel really strongly that that the city needs to provide childcare and needs to get the word out that childcare will be provided. And the mayor was going to host, before Delta kind of took off and everything, the mayor was going to host, and I understand this wasn't exactly city business, I guess, sort of, I don't know. She was going to host a thing with our state representatives in person at the library, and there was no childcare. And I was like, and I asked, I contacted all of them and I was like, this is great. Where's childcare? It's just, if we're going to prioritize involving, people who have barriers, we have to prioritize that. So I don't know, just kind of throwing that out there to all of you, if you know people who you could also tell, and then Megan, but I'm guessing, you already heard about this, this concern.
Great suggestion, Lisa.
Oh my gosh, Melissa, your friend founded that. I just learned about it recently. Politicit, right? I think it is. Yeah. Oh, you're muted.
Maybe that's how she spells it. I might have it right.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Pulse-it?
I just heard. Yeah, I heard about it from Family Forward Action.
Okay.
Because I contacted them. They're like a political action committee sort of in Oregon that pushes for family policies that help families and stuff. And yeah, they recommended it. I think the challenge with that is that you still have to find your own sitter. So I think when you think about I was able to get sitters for a lot of our in-person meetings, but a lot of people aren't, and then for some of them I wasn't able to get a sitter.
But Lisa, I have a 14-year-old right here who is Red Cross babysitting certified.
Well, thank you for letting me know. I appreciate that.
Do you know when we're meeting again? Approximately when our next meeting is?
Good question. Probably once we get through recruitment. So I should also say that once the application's closed, interviews and those types of things will be happening like end of October, early November. And then new terms start January. So we'll probably have one more meeting in either like later November, early December. And then the work of looking over the application again and talking about our process for the next year will start in January. So it'll be here before you know it. And then we'll also in January be reviewing the grant reports as well from this current year of grantees.
The previous years, and I don't know, I know because of COVID we haven't done it, but I wonder if they have an online place to do it. You know, they would have this big thing somewhere where all the boards and commissions would have an appearance and people go around and talk to us. Are they going to do that virtually this year? Or are they just going to skip that step altogether?
I believe they're going to do something different, a different kind of like appreciation event. So stay tuned.
The event where they would do it, introducing people to the boards and commissions. They would have a room with people with good food and stuff, and people talking to all the boards members to see which ones they might be interested in.
That's right. They have done some events. I think they held one actually during welcoming week with some bold participants, and then there might be something like virtually. They've been doing like some office hours and that type of thing as well. So there might be a couple other opportunities, and definitely you'll probably hear from neighborhood office just generally about those types of things. Lisa S as our current chair, they might reach out to you for some of that as well. And I should also mention that I will need help in the interview stage of things. So I will be reaching out to a few of you.
I'd be happy to help if I can.
Great.
Megan, one of the
Yeah,
things we spoke about earlier had to do with number one, the sort of the philosophy behind who we would want for the grants in terms of the wealth of the company or the organization or the who the board is made up of. Then there was also going to be discussion on the possibility of melding the seeding grants with the social services funding. Is that something that you're going to be looking for feedback from us? And if so, is that something you want on a future agenda?
Yes, thank you. So when we meet in November, we'll need to talk about, I just have to move the meeting so it's not right up against Thanksgiving, but we will want to talk about both like priorities for the next year, and if anything has changed in terms of priorities. And then also kind of what you mentioned, Mike, like any additional kind of requirements or ceilings that we want to put on anything in terms of folks and organizations being able to apply for the grant. So if that's like a ceiling for, budget or something else related to the organization, then we will talk about it then, so that we can build it into the grant for the following year. They're also starting the community development block grant process. So I will let you all know what they decide in terms of funding and that type of thing as we get into the new year. And then, yes, we have a couple other things. The nonprofit incubator project, I think there's some discussion on that. So I should have more of an update for you all by the next meeting on what that looks like. I'm really excited about being able to share a little bit more about that. So that is all coming. Anything else you all are hoping to talk about in terms of next year of granting or the organizations we're serving right now? Okay. Well, then I will, I'm going to end our recording. We are done for the night, and you are welcome to go out and enjoy this rainy weather we're having. But thank you guys all for this short, quick meeting. Stay healthy, and we will talk soon.
Megan, are you going to stay on for questions for a few minutes? Okay.